I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player. I've been playing this game for about 20 plus years now. I'm technically a Yu-Gi boomer. My son is the same age that I was when I first started playing Yu-Gi-Oh, 12 years old. And I've noticed amongst the younger Gen Z, which is what my son classifies as, they don't give two craps about a card game that's not named Pokemon. And a lot of them damn sure don't even know what Yu-Gi-Oh is. And if they do, a lot of them don't care. Recently in the community, I've been seeing a lot of stuff online talk about the Yu-Gi-Oh game is dying. Pro players are getting fed up and switching to other card games. And people are screaming that their local scene is just completely dead. And guess what? I'm finally glad you guys have been catching up. Me and a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh veterans have been complaining about the same issues that I'm going to complain about in this video today for years. Check back on some of my older content. I got tons of videos talking about Yu-Gi-Oh TCG is dying, and people always say the game's growing, it's getting good sales, event numbers are up, and I'm just like, bro, that don't mean anything when you have no children playing. As crazy as that sounds. The main reason, if you guys haven't realized, the main reason why event numbers are up is because all the kids that were playing during the Zexal era is finally getting old enough to travel alone. My nephews, for example, I have one nephew that's 18, one that's turning 17, or vice versa. One of them turned 17, the other one's turning 18. Both of them got into Yu-Gi-Oh heavily during the Zexal era. The Zexal era was really good with the older Gen Zs to get them hooked into the game. However, the generation under them, the younger Gen Zs and Gen Alpha, they don't care about that type of stuff. They never really got into Yu-Gi-Oh because there was not a good Yu-Gi-Oh anime to come out around that time. I think the one that came out after Zex, I think was like 5D. As I heard that was really good, but it never, not 5D, that's what I'm saying. Not 5D, but the one that came out after that, I think it was either Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s or it was another one that was kind of mature. It just didn't pick up steam, and especially it didn't even get a cartoon in the US to get the younger crowd into the game. But the reason why event numbers are up now is because the younger generation that was into the game back about 15 years ago is finally old enough to travel. However, there's no rotation of new players coming in. The biggest issue outside of the players not coming in is crappy prize support. Why would you get into Yu-Gi-Oh with the main thing you're going to win if you top 32 an event is a playmat, a deck box. Even if you win the event, you get a Nintendo Switch. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't even know it was that bad. I knew they get stuff with the prize card, but even the prize card now is crappy. It's not even worth much. And it's not like Konami can't fix this. They always say, well, the reason why Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have cash prize is because Kazuka Takahashi did not want cash prizing in Yu-Gi-Oh. And as much as I respect his wishes, that's still a dumb reason. You know, God rest his soul. But even if he was still around, I would be advocating for him to go against that rule and figure out a way to get the cash prizing added to the game to help us players out, because it's not really about, and this is the argument that annoys me when I sit online. It's not really about people making Yu-Gi-Oh a full-time career. Only the top 1% of people who make Yu-Gi-Oh a full-time career, and that's the Yu-Gi-Tubers who are full-time, like a Team Samurai or a Team APS, and or the top pro players that top every event that also does content creation on the side. Great examples of this would be like Sam, Team Samurai X, and Pac. They're good content creators, but they're also good Yu-Gi-Oh players with big event tops, which is why their channels are so popular. And them is not outside of people like that. The average player works a good 9 to 5, or they run a business. And to travel to these events, you have to have money to travel consistently, especially as an adult, unless you're doing a vacation thing for your kid. And let's face fact, there's no kids in this game anymore. So as an adult or a young adult, we want to get compensated for our time. It's not about living off of the money for playing Yu-Gi-Oh or potential money you can make from playing Yu-Gi-Oh, but it's about being respected as a player for your time. I recently went to YCS Indie. I made day 2. I was like, I think I was like 119th, and I finished. No, I think I finished 119th because I made a bad misplay day 2, but that's neither here or there. But even if I didn't misplay, I would have finished with I think 11 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. So X21 could not make the top 32 anyway. But in the other card games that just came out, like I think Digimon for sure, One Piece, Lorcana. You make day 2 in a really big event with over 1,000 players, you're going to get something. You might not get the best prize, and no one's begging for a consolation prize at the door. But I feel like if it's 1,800 players in the room, you make day 2, and even some people with an X2 record, which an X2 record used to damn near guarantee you top 32. Even a lot of people with X2 record didn't make it. So you have people with really good records that don't get compensated for their time. And people like my boy Uri Diaz made top 16, got a box, a play mat, and then that was it. It's like, bro, that's not worth it versus these other card games where you get good alternate art cards, good exclusive products that's worth money. And if Konami didn't want to give us cash, they can always invest into giving us good alternate artwork stuff that'd be worth money. Like, I would much rather, as a prize card, be a alternate art or full art version of, like, let's say, for example, Ash Blossom and Joy Spring versus what we have now, which is Another World Dragon. Like, back in the day, the prize cards used to be really sought after because they were really good cards that was borderline unfair. So if you had one, you had a huge advantage. However, there's different ways we can alleviate that to make the game a lot better. So yeah, like I said, Konami's getting competition from the better other card games, and that's definitely hurting Yu-Gi-Oh! One Piece and Lorcana is real, unlike over the past few years where we had Dragon Ball remake and different things like YCS. They were good, but they never had the same crowd Yu-Gi-Oh! Had. But I'm seeing a big crowd of Disney players playing Lorcana at locals as well as One Piece. Both of those properties are huge and pose a big threat to Konami's Yu-Gi-Oh!, especially Disney, because Disney is is Mickey Mouse and Konami is Konami. Disney is probably bigger than Konami, honestly speaking, even though Konami is like up there, like they're like neck and neck. So Disney off the rip has a better crowd from what I've been told, better prize structure off the rip as I've been told, and a lot more casual scene with women in it. That is a real thing. People clown Yu-Gi-Oh! Players for saying, hey, don't no woman want to play a card game. Why you guys care about women playing a card game? It's not the fact that people care about women playing a card game. It's the fact that, you know, as a grown adult that's single, it's nothing wrong with wanting to potentially find a mate in a game in your hobby. And a game like Lorcana has women in it that plays that are adults, or even if they play casually. And Yu-Gi-Oh!, the little women we did have don't play anymore because, let's be real, a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are creeps. I could care less if a woman plays or not a card game, but as a guy who's single that's an adult, like, still be pretty dope to meet a cool chick at a card shop that's playing the same thing I'm doing versus going to a bar or a club. That's not really my thing to do. So we got to really stop trying to roast people for that fact, because that's a really good fact in all honesty. I, for one, and a lot of people are also tired of the OCG, TCG split, beef, whatever. OCG gives different rarities that I think their top decks over there is like $100, maybe $200 tops. TCG decks are expensive. Players are kind of tired of being insulted by the OCG, and I've been saying this for years too, which is one of the reasons why I never really invested too heavily into this game. Because for one, if I play the meta deck, even if I win, I'm not going to win anything. I'm still negging when I travel. Also, too, why am I going to pay? It's disrespectful to have one of your main sources of income, which is the TCG, Europe and the US, have to get shafted with these high rarities, and then the cards go up in the secondary market versus the OCG players who have damn near low rarity everything, and their decks aren't as expensive as the TCG, and Konami of Japan does not care. They blatantly separate the two because they said so, even though we're the same card game. It made sense in the 90s when things were different and, you know, different regulations were different, but in the day of social media, the internet, the TCG, the OCG should all be combined into one format. Hell, I think the Master Duel thing should be one format as well. TCG, OCG, Master Duel should all be one thing. And then they should have alternative formats like Edison and things like that. But the main thing should all be one game instead of separated. I don't like the separation. I don't think anyone likes it. I think they need to fix that. And honestly speaking, real talk, Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs a mature anime to get kids in. Like, a lot of kids nowadays versus when us millennials were younger, they don't really like cheesy animes like we did. I mean, there's some cheesy stuff nowadays. Like, I think Demon Slayer is a little cheesy. Like, my son used to love that show. Now he hates it. He's more of a One Piece fan. But a lot of kids nowadays, just like we did, love a mature thing. And I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs a mature anime, similar to the Beyblade anime. If you guys seen the Beyblade anime, it's awesome. The OG one and the new one's pretty good. To bring the competitive spirit into the younger kids, to get the kids to get into the game. Because with more kids get into it, that builds the next generation. Overall, like I said, Yu-Gi-Oh's dying slowly, in my personal opinion. Like, even like I said, the local scene is dying. Europe hasn't had a YCS. I've seen European players on Twitter complain about locals dying in their area. And even in the Chicagoland area, there's the two shops that do Yu-Gi-Oh! Is ran by former Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, and they are effectively keeping the Yu-Gi-Oh! Scene alive in Chicago. And then we got some suburban shops too, but the main ones near Chicago, like Quality Gaming and Emporium TCG, shout out to them for keeping the Yu-Gi-Oh! Scene strong in Chicago. It really was for them. Our local scene in main Chicago, unless you want to travel far outside of the cities to the south suburbs or west suburbs, will be completely dead. And that's because players just don't care about Yu-Gi-Oh! I think other games are more chill. Most adults use this as an escape, and the casual scene for Yu-Gi-Oh! Is pretty much dead. Even the casual players that I know that play the game still, they're really just competitive rogue players. There's not really casual Yu-Gi-Oh! Players who I see that just meet up, play Yu-Gi-Oh! And bounce. But when I go to card shops, the people who do that, they play Edison, and the ones that play Edison are competitive. And the other ones that meet up at card shops just to play for shits and giggles, play other card games. So I think Yu-Gi-Oh's are far from dying, but it's definitely on a decline. But the good thing is, though, and I'm very optimistic, Konami can easily change this around. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is still extremely popular, and all Konami got to do is increase the price structure, either give us cash or give us alternative cards that'd be worth something, like alternate art Ash Blossoms that's only exclusive to the YCS. Make it different. Make it so you can only go to that event and get that card, and don't reprint it. I don't care how much people complain. Do not reprint it. We need things to make our game valuable. So tell me what you guys think about this video. Comment section down below. Like the video if you're new here. If you want to subscribe for more, subscribe for more. This is Rogue Hero bringing you guys another dope discussion. I'm signing out. Peace. See you guys in the next video.